Hi guys, we are back with Premier League prediction. It's the start of the new season. It's the 2018-2019 season, and we start with tonight's kickoff: Manchester United versus Leicester at 8 o'clock. And they've not made some big, massive signings. Manchester United, in the summer transfer window. They've not really got much of a different squad to last year. And yes, okay, I know they did quite well last year. I think they finished second in the end. But I still feel that they were quite poor. There wasn't, they didn't live up to like Manchester United's, high expectations. The way they should be playing, the way they should be winning trophies and getting results. They just didn't seem to deliver. And I think that Jose Mourinho is really under the cosh this season. I think some fans are still gunning for him, and I think if he doesn't deliver this season, if he doesn't get the Premier League this season, I think he'll be showing the door. It's not acceptable for Manchester United. I know we've sit here and talked about Arsenal before, but let's get it right. Manchester United are a much bigger club than Arsenal, and for them not to be winning the big major trophies like Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, it's a big massive problem for them. Obviously, it's the first game of the season, so there's not going to be many goals this weekend, I don't think. I do think because it's at Old Trafford, I do think that Manchester United will nick it. I'm going to go Manchester United 1, Leicester 0. I'll also give my predictions at the end of the video of who I think is going to get relegated and who I think will win the title. So stick around for that. We now go to Saturday's kickoffs at 12:30, the lunchtime kickoff. We have Newcastle versus Tottenham. Bit of a tasty start to the Premier League, isn't it? Newcastle, Tottenham. Again, Tottenham are the only team that haven't spent any money. I know exactly how that feels. Well, I don't actually, because we did. There was a season that we did that. We did sign Petr Cech, so it was actually the Arsenal were the only team that didn't sign an outfield player. But Tottenham have spent no money at all. They haven't bought any players in, which is a big, massive gamble. And I do think they're going to struggle this season due to that. They have kept Harry Kane, I'm led to believe. So that's one big, massive good news for them, I suppose. It's going to be a tough game, going to Newcastle. I do think Tottenham will nick it, but that's really bizarre that that Pochettino hasn't gone out and signed anybody. Does that mean that he's on his way out? He's not really interested in Tottenham. Is it the same saga with Tottenham like we had at Arsenal because they're putting money into this new stadium? They haven't got any money to spend. We don't know. Leave your comments in the comment section below what you think's gone on there. I think there's a bit of a bit of thing there between Pochettino that he's not quite interested in being at Tottenham anymore, and he's had another job offer, but we'll see. But going on to the result, I think it's going to be Newcastle 1, Tottenham 2. But I think that's going to be a really good game, actually. We now go to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we start with Huddersfield versus Chelsea. Again, Chelsea's looked really poor in pre-season. I listened to them last week in the Community Shield. It was on the radio. I haven't got BT Sport anymore. But I listened to them on the radio. Yes, okay, Manchester City are a very good, strong team. But they just sounded really poor, Chelsea. And I remember Stuart Pearce saying, I think it was the 70th minute, they were 2-0 down, Chelsea. And they hadn't made any changes. And I remember Stuart Pearce coming out saying, give your fans something. Bring maybe Giroud on or bring something on. And try and get back into the game. There's 20 minutes to go. Try and get back into the game. Maybe it's the fact that it was a Community Shield and they're concentrating more on the Premier League. But, when your fans have, spent really good money to get to Wembley to watch you in the Community Shield, you should really, try and do something to try and get back into the game. That's just my way of thinking, maybe Stuart Pearce's way of thinking as well. But, obviously they were really poor. They've been really poor in pre-season as well. And I can't see them getting any more than a point at Huddersfield as well. I think Huddersfield are going to be up for it. It's the first game of the season at home for them against Chelsea. So I think it's going to be a tight, tough game. I'm going to go Huddersfield 1, Chelsea 1. We then have Bournemouth versus Cardiff. We welcome Cardiff into the Premier League. And again, I think this is going to be a tight, tough game. Cardiff don't want to go all guns blazing out against a Premier League side. It's their first game of the Premier League. Bournemouth, again, they don't want to get exposed. They're finding out Championship, their Championship opponents. So I'm going to go with the same result. Bournemouth 1, Cardiff 1. And, fun enough, we've got a hat-trick of 1-1s because I've gone Watford 1, Brighton 1. Again, like I said, it's the start of the season. I think most of these results are going to be quite similar for the same reasons. So Watford 1, Brighton 1. We then have Fulham versus Crystal Palace. Now Fulham also were a team that got promoted to the Premier League, but I've gone for Fulham to win this game. They're at home. They're going to be absolutely buzzing. It's their first game in the Premier League for, I think, if my math's correct, I think it's 8 or 9 years, is it, since they've been in the Premier League. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure it's been quite a fair while since they've been in the Premier League, Fulham. So they're going to be all guns blazing. You know, they're going to be really, really excited. Crystal Palace again, they did escape relegation in the end, so congratulations to them. But I'm going to go Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 0. As I said, you know, I think Fulham are going to be really, really excited. And what I did see of Fulham in the Championship, I know it's a different situation, but I think they've signed some good players as well. So I think they're going to have a good season, Fulham, this year. At 5:30, we have Wolves versus Everton. Again, Wolves, you know, they won the Championship in the end, and you know, they ended up, you know, getting promoted. Obviously, you know, they won the Championship, and I think this is going to be a tight, tough game. You know, I think Everton had a poor season last year, and yeah, I don't know how many signings they've bought this year. Everton, actually, I'm not even sure if Sam Allardyce is still there. I've not really. You know, kept a close eye on the transfers, but I think Wolves are going to give Everton a tough game again. It's at the Molineux. They're going to be up for this kind of game, so I'm going to go Wolves 1, Everton 1. At 1:30 on Sunday, we have 2 1:30 kickoffs. We've got Southampton versus Burnley. You know, Burnley did quite well last year, actually. You know, I think they finished 8th or 7th in the end. Southampton avoided relegation as well, and again, I'm going to go for a tight, tough game. I'm going to go Southampton 1, Burnley 1. The other 1:30 kickoff is Liverpool versus West Ham. Both teams that have bought some massive signings this year. They bought a fantastic goalkeeper, I'm led to believe, Liverpool, and they bought some fantastic signings. West Ham, the big one for me on a free has to be Jack Wilshere. I think Jack Wilshere will dictate their midfield this year, and a lot of the service will come from him in the middle. And again, because teams are still gelling together, I think it will be tough for West Ham, but I'm going to go for a tight, tough draw for this one as well. I'm going to go Liverpool 1, West Ham 1. And then to finish off the weekend, we at 4 o'clock we have Arsenal versus Manchester City. Again, Arsenal have bought some good key signings, you know, in important key areas. And obviously we know how tough Manchester City are going to be, but I'm going to go for Arsenal to nick this one. It's at home, as I said. I think the new signings are going to look to improve, so I'm going to go Arsenal 1, Manchester City 0. That might be a big, massive gamble to take, but we shall see. In terms of, as I said, teams getting relegated and the team that's going to win the Premier League. So let's start with the team that's going to get relegated. I think Wolves will do well this year. I think I've said. I think Fulham will do well. I think Southampton. I think they just about avoided it last year, but I think their time is up now. So I think Southampton will be the first team to go. I think they'll finish 20th. Crystal Palace again. I think they've rode their luck. I think they'll finish 19th. Again, they just about escaped it last year. And I think that Cardiff will struggle this year as well. You know, I think it's the first time in the Premier League, or maybe their second time in the Premier League. And I think they're really, really going to struggle. So I think they'll finish 18th. Actually, I might swap that round. Actually, I might have Cardiff 19th and Crystal Palace 18th. I think Crystal Palace will put up the bigger battle. You know, they've got the Premier League experience, so we'll go for Cardiff 19th and Crystal Palace 18th. But Southampton, I just can't see them, you know, doing that well this year. But that's just my opinion. You can leave your opinions in the comment section below. In terms of winning the title, I can't look any further than Manchester City winning it again. They just looked far too strong, and I think they're going to walk away with it again. There's just no easy way of saying that. So, yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below of your predictions this weekend. Who you think is going to get relegated, who you think will win the title. And I will see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys. It's good to be back.